All right, all right. We're live, we're live. Steve, good morning, my friend. Nice trade on the Ultra bonds yesterday. Awesome. Gotta start alerting the plebeians here. Okay. Just kidding. No pressure. I would have taken that trade though. That was a beautiful setup. I wish I had seen it. Um, yeah, way to go. Really proud of you. Stoked to see you continue to kick ass. How's the audio and the video? Is it coming through okay? Is the green screen not looking pixelated or that? Go ahead and jump into analysis. Looks and sounds good. Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, cool. Rock, here we go. All right. So I'm ready to go today. I'm still sick and tired. I woke up at 5 this morning. Not my typical style. I went to bed about midnight. Really for me was nice. I thought I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. Then I woke up at 5 because I couldn't breathe because this COVID thing is I have I just can't breathe so well. So, anyways, tired. Gonna be happy when the weekend's here, to be honest, to catch up on some sleep. But we are crushing through the week, doing very well, keeping it together. And this is just, I'm saying this not because it's, oh, poor me. I'm actually doing it to teach because I know myself over all these years. If I'm feeling sick or I'm tired, those are not days that I push it, not days that I get super aggressive. Brain is not as not processing information as quickly as it does when it's at 100%, right? This is important to recognize. Traders, some traders just come to the screen, like hungover, just had a fight with the wife, kicking the dog when they're leaving the house, and they just come and start putting on, full size. That's not a good idea. You're probably going to find a way to, you know, mess that up. So, really important to recognize how you're feeling every day. Me, mentally, I feel pretty great every day, to be honest with you. When I'm physically, if I have a cold or a flu, which is not very often, I'm aware that my energy levels are low. If I didn't sleep well, that kind of thing. So that's why I pointed out. Oh, it says subscribers only mode. That's so weird. Let me fix that, Steve. I don't know why. That wasn't the setting. Let me see here. Subscribers only. Okay, so I go here to edit, customization. Okay, live chat replay. Oh yeah, I switched this. Okay, anyone. Thanks for telling me, Steve. It switched it back. And 1 sec, it should allow anyone to comment now. Owings trading turned off. Subscribers only. Okay, anyone can send it. All right. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate the heads up there. Yeah. So, anyways, that's why I tell you guys about having a little bit of a sniffles. That is. Let's move into the analysis now. We've got big news, inflation data. I think it's is it PPI or something like that coming out at 8:30. So that's going to be big. That's probably going to be what we're waiting for. We'll trade that. If we see any good setups around that announcement, we'll trade it like we do if we see a good setup at the stock market open. If we see anything particularly good at 8 a.m., we'll take it. We just got to make sure we're flat. I mean, usually our trades are pretty quick. So once we're in, we kind of get our money out. So yeah, if there's anything good at 8 a.m., we'll absolutely take it. So let's go ahead and jump into the analysis here quickly. I mean, we can see ES is just continuing to kind of stall out up here, but just grinding higher, right? So I think we're going to just continue to see much of the same up here. Just continue to be very careful on indices because we're in the process up here of, either topping out or we're basing and we're going to rocket higher. We're going to find out soon, but where you don't want to get caught is in all this, exercising caution on the indices. All right, so let's go ahead and look at NASDAQ. This is the daily chart, by the way. You're looking at daily, weekly, and monthly to the far left. So NASDAQ actually was weaker yesterday, kind of went for more of a congestion entrance move. So I think the NASDAQ, the S&P right now looks a little stronger. So NASDAQ, I think if we see some good setups, short or long, it's a bit safer to play those now because we are in congestion on the NASDAQ basically. So I think, you know, we can be open to the NASDAQ, but still careful, aware of the fact that we've got a lot of volatility up here and range expansion as we're potentially topping out. Let's look at the Dow. Remember, we're going to connect all these dots as usual, so we get a sense of what's going on with bonds, rates, metals, all that good stuff. So the Dow here, stay away from the Dow. I just Dow that much. I'll look at it, but because sometimes there are some good little trades on the Dow and the Russell. They're, I don't know, fewer and far between. I got to get better about looking at every market on every hourly check just to make sure we don't miss anything. Yeah, Russell, chop. So there's really no clear directional indication on the indices. If I see some outstanding patterns, we might open to those, depending on scoreboard and everything else, obviously. But I expect chop. Let's go ahead and just look at the 10-year. Yesterday, we had a very interesting day. Dollar and bonds were kind of diverging from their normal pattern. And their correlations will shift as we enter new regimes. So yesterday, we had weaker bonds, stronger bonds as the dollar was getting stronger. And that's why I didn't feel comfortable shorting the metals, because it's really a better environment to short metals when you've got bonds dropping, rates rising, and the dollar getting stronger. That was why I made a little money on silver yesterday, and that was pretty much it. So you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Know the days to play. I saw one of the other channels, not going to call out any names because I actually like the guy a lot. He seems like a pretty funny dude. But, you know, he took a big hit on his live streaming yesterday. And I get it. You know, we're all going to have losing days for sure. But when you're, you know, when you're putting on 10, 15 contracts and, you know, taking these small profits, like I said, it just takes one kind of bad volatile day and you're going to give back, you know, a huge chunk of your profits. I think that's the main difference between what we're doing here and what other people are doing. Well, the main differences are many. We have something that works. We show it live every day. But one of the main differences in how I run the room and how I structure the live trading is that I'm really interested in quality and I'm really interested in risk management. You know, I don't swing for the fences. And when I do take losing days, you know, I try to keep them manageable, right? So I think that's a really big difference. We manage our risk very well here. So we'll hopefully continue to do that. That's my goal is always risk management first and foremost. And then the trades that we wait for and we get that are the high quality trades, we take those. And that's why we got a good track record. You know, on the thumbnail that I put today, you know, those are Steve's numbers basically from the last 2 weeks following this live stream, learning OMA, putting on the trades. You know, so this is also, it's like it's one thing to come in and watch me trade. I'm doing the analysis, I'm pointing out setups, I'm teaching you guys. But what sets this chat apart is that you guys can watch and make money on your own accounts while we're trading. And proof is in the pudding. We have somebody actually doing that, who's taking the time to be here and follow the trades and do the analysis. So I think that's what, you know, makes it a lot different than the other streams out there. So, all right. And I hope people who stop on in realize that we'll have to have a flashing sign or something. So here's the 10-year treasury notes, looking like a pretty darn strong resistance level there in the 111.16.5. So I think rates will be on the way back up. Bonds will be dropping. Hopefully the dollar can continue and, you know, pick up ground against the euro. So if we get that perfect storm, which we do, you know, a couple times a week lately, where we get strong dollar, dropping bonds, rising rates, that should set up the good shorts on the metals and also probably start to weigh on the indices up here as well. So looks like bonds are probably, at least right now, looking like they want to set up, you know, something nice for us to the downside for especially metals. Let's look at the 30-year. On the 30-year here, 30-year treasury bond, you guys. Yeah, we've got some nice resistance patterns on the bonds here today. So I'm feeling really good about shorting bonds today. And then that's just going to drive the rest of the scoreboard. That's going to drive all the other markets. If the short on bonds is accurate, this is the ultra bond here now. If these things end up dropping, as it looks like they're probably going to, you know, in the ultra bond, if we go from where we are now at 125, almost about 126, down here back to these lows, the market's going to have trouble with that because rates are pushing higher. That's also going to, metals are the one that you can really take advantage of when the rates are pushing up and the dollar is getting stronger. I don't know why people mess around with the NASDAQ when you can just go and get a nice trade on silver or platinum or copper, one of those markets. So bonds look very, very bearish today. That's how we're going to play it to start today. Again, stocks, just to recap, we go through the entire scoreboard every day planning our trades so we know what to expect, right? We want to take the lowest hanging fruit. Today we've got stocks choppy, continue choppy, so be careful. That's a great place to lose money if that's what you're interested in. We try to not do that here. And bonds look like they're going to be good shorts, so that's what we're going to focus on today, as long as that picture remains. Let's go over to the metals. Look at gold. So gold's still hanging around 2021 here, and see what gold is. Yeah, very choppy on gold, so we'll continue to just be patient, wait for the break to the downside, because the quarterly and the monthly patterns on gold are incredibly bearish, which is why the weekly chart here in the middle is starting to leak to the downside, right? So we're just waiting for the daily here to stop chopping around and exit to the downside. There's no need to sit here and play in the middle of the range until it starts giving us some clarity, right? Whereas bonds, you can see, have already started to drop. Rates are rising, which is why I think with the charts and with what we're seeing, with rates in the dollar, gold is probably going to catch down unless the Houthis, sink a U.S. destroyer or something like that. Obviously, gold can up $100 in 2 seconds, but we're just looking at what we have in front of us. Some kind of geopolitical black swan happens like that, then obviously we'll adjust and we'll trade it accordingly. Okay, here's silver. Silver. Yeah, you guys can see yesterday, right? Was definitely I was interested in shorting silver because we have a lot of resistance up here. But you could see bonds were not cooperating yesterday, even though the dollar was getting stronger against the euro, right? Bonds were not confirming that. So that's how I knew to pull that profit on that silver trade quickly rather than let it go to break even or even take out my stop, because I could see bonds weren't cooperating. So why hold a trade? If you're looking for very specific pieces to be in place on a trade, if I don't have all those pieces, I get out. I just wait for the next trade, because there'll always be another trade that has all the pieces that I like with OMA, Owings Market Analysis, and confirming with the bond market, dollar, rates, etc. So really important. So that was the right call yesterday with silver, which is nice to see. It's nice to see that you're rewarded for making objective decisions, based on what you're seeing instead of emotional decisions. So for today with silver, yeah, I mean, we're in a lot of resistance still. So if bonds do head down, like, they look like they're going to now, and rates push up and the dollar can maintain some strength against the euro, then sure, we're going to be looking to short silver today, obviously. It should be headed back down here to the 2260, 2250, probably 2240, 2250. Again, that's with the current picture that we have going into the day, right? I can only use the information that's in front of me, and then we adjust as the day starts to unfold. But we at least have a clearer picture heading into today than we did yesterday. Awesome. I like those days. They don't always lead to profits, but usually they do. So let's look at copper. So copper here, copper has rallied. We talk about this. It's rallied a lot more than the other metals. Why? Because as the indices are squeezing higher, they're dragging copper with it. But as the indices start to roll over on the back of these higher rates and a stronger dollar, it just means that copper is going to fall higher. But we also knew, to be careful shorting copper yesterday. That ended up, being a good call, right? Because the trades that I'm trying to get in on are the ones where when you have everything lined up, and you're short copper or you're short silver, it just, when you have everything lined up, you get the potential to have it go in your favor big and quick. Those are the trades that I like. Not for everybody. Winning is not for everybody, but it is for me. So I like to get in those trades where I have the strongest chance of a big, fast win. Doesn't always work, but I try and put myself in the right position as often as possible. All right, so copper today, yeah, you got a lot of resistance here. So especially if copper was to retest these highs up in 3.9 or under 3, that short copper. Not so sure I would chase it down here potentially, but certainly a spike on copper. One more challenge up into those resistance levels would be awesome. Here's platinum. Platinum is the one that ended up dropping yesterday. A lot of resistance here tonight. Keep an eye on platinum. Let's look at crude. Crude continues. push higher. Gotta drink coffee again. Going on 5 hours sleep. I'm not kind of a wuss when it comes to sleep. And the thing is, you got to drink a bunch of coffee to stay awake. Spun out and make terrible caffeinated. So good to be aware of these things. All right, so crude. And we were looking for a pullback yesterday. We're still looking for a pullback today. So anything down here into the 75, 50 area, anywhere down there, I think this trend run looks pretty stable. Crude. Don't want to short crude. Look at nat gas. Nat gas, we started the day looking at about 2.4, but then when I looked at more support levels, I said, nah, 2.2. Then when I looked at 2.2 and I looked at everything happening and I looked at the strong dollar, I said, I don't want to buy natural gas. About to be a good call. So why it's important, the analysis, see how things are developing throughout the day, update your game plan and make your decisions accordingly. It's not like there's no personal preference toward any one market. A lot of people go into the day like, with an idea, like, okay, NASDAQ's going up today. Go into the day like that might be right sometimes, but on those days when you're wrong and you're convinced you're right, you're going to get screwed, and that's not going to be fun. I learned by making those mistakes. Now I try and come into the day as objectively as possible and remain as objective as possible throughout the day. That is what allows me to see markets clearly. All right, so here is Euro US futures. We're at 108.90. We did test those lows, but now we're pushing up. I mean, we certainly have a lot of support down here into 108.60 for the euro. So let's see if the euro is going to get stronger against the dollar, and that might be the fly in the ointment today. If the dollar is getting weaker, but bonds are also getting weaker with rates going up. But what does this mean? When you see disagreements, right, I would love to see the dollar get back down near those lows with bonds dropping and rates rising, right? Because that would really give us our setups. But if we don't see that, what does it tell us? It tells us the market is likely to continue to remain choppy. To be very careful. Save your trades. Your powder dry. It's all the information is really good. Even if the market's not agreeing, it's not like, darn, I wish the market had everything lining up. Yeah, I do wish the market had everything lining up, but even when it doesn't, it's telling you something. So the market is always telling you something. It's up to us to find out what it's trying to tell us. Tidbit there, guys. All right, so Bitcoin, I'm going to try and get better about following. I told you guys something I follow it, but I don't trade it very often. I placed only full of trades on Bitcoin in my life, so I would like to start trading it more, and we will do so on the channel here. And trade I think I would trade the mini or the micro, whatever one is 1 Bitcoin. That'd be enough for me. That's a volatile. I wouldn't. The full contract I think is 5 Bitcoin. No thanks. 1 Bitcoin sounds all right. So Bitcoin today on the daily chart, a little bit of a rally. Overall, though, still quite bearish. Ethereum will be the same. And quickly go into our hourly charts. Got 5 minutes. Check. Taken. Ethereum always takes forever to load. Don't know why. Every other market loads. Thank you. Go to day trading charts here. Hey guys, hourly chart to the far right, 4 hourly in the left. Sometimes we'll bring up the 15-minute. It's better with this setup here. Okay, let's just look at, generally speaking, stocks right now. We're probably not going to take anything because it's pre-market and waiting for the guy. I think it's PP. That news announcement at 8:30 we're waiting for. So probably not. We're not going to trade stocks at 8. But let's look at bonds. They oftentimes will set up something decent at the close. So here you can see hourly chart on the ultra bond, you know, firing nice and low here. I want to short the bonds today. Get a pullback of some. Not just going to chase it down here. Might keep dropping. Want to wait. Bonds, but at least they're showing weakness as expected. 30 years. Yeah, there's the 30-year. 10-year right. Pick gold. Remember gold. So we lay the foundation. I'm into check, knowing what we overlaying foundation. They're all very very boring, sexy things to do. You know, things like preparing, following your trading plan. Definitely not popular on YouTube. Following your trading plan, preparing for the day. Oh god. I say that because I do watch some of the channels because I'm really curious what people are doing, and nobody has a plan. Everybody's just running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Great. All right. So gold, don't want to do anything with that. Silver. Yeah, exactly. No one has a plan, Steve. I don't know, Steve. You tell me. You got a plan now that you got OMA. We got a plan. How's that working out for you? Working out pretty good for me. But hey, Steve, if it's just me and you for the next 5 years, great. We'll sit here and we'll make a lot of money and we'll laugh and we'll have a good time. So, but you know, word does get out about the authentic thing. Only a matter of time. It's like we gotta break through the algorithm, and there's just a sea of bullshit out there. Gotta like penetrate and break through. So gotta kind of get through that. Yeah, we're just getting started. Absolutely. Just the beginning. I made a cool video because I woke up at 5 and I was like, gosh, I'm so tired, but I can't sleep because I can't breathe. So I put together this video. It just kind of came from the heart. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to premiere that for you guys here after the 8 a.m. check if we're not in the trade. Silver heading down, which is what I expect. A lot of resistance up here, but if we can pop some silver, it looks, I think we got a nice 4-hourly down pattern on silver. Nice 4-hour resistance pattern on copper. Everything's dropping nicely. So you just want to wait for the ones, you know, like, Andy, they're dropping. Why don't we get in? Well, because if I want to short something, I'm going to try and short it in resistance, not in support. What if support breaks? I don't care. I'm taking the trade where I have the best risk profile on the trade in terms of where I know I would want to stop out, right? Again, back to this whole trading plan thing. I know it's super annoying for the people that don't use trading plans. All right, so here is platinum. Platinum. Nice little 4-hour level up here. The only problem with platinum is you're coming out of a potential strong day. Platinum's been acting a little bit different than the other. Crude can sometimes set up a decent really I want it to pull back a bit more. That's a pretty nice little support pattern right there on crude. But for me, we need to be back closer to the daily support. I don't really try and get long. Yeah. So crude. Really not going to do anything for the 8 o'clock hour, which is fine. Waiting for the really good trades. And as Steve, as you know, yesterday in the afternoon, it's like, boom, bonds just delivered one of our great setups. You saw it. I'm so happy you saw that. I definitely would have taken it had I seen it. You know, this whole week's been off for me with this gold thing. But that's why you don't have to rush, right? Like when you've got a system that works, and especially when you're just doing hourly checks, just got what 7-8 checks a day. Wait for those trades where the check and it all looks. That mean 100% of those are going to work? No. That you're going to have a much higher chance of maybe 65% of them working. You're going to losses smaller, larger wins. It's just going to shift the edge in your side. Oh, the audio is fading. Okay, maybe I'm a little too far away from the mic, or is this? How's this? Is that better, Steve? Let me know. Maybe it's because I was back here and I think I have the noise cancellation on, so I can lift the mic. Okay, so this is, how's that? Is that a little better? I lifted the mic there, so I think that might be a little bit better. I think I grew in my sleep. I'm a solid 5'10" now. I need a much higher mic. So let's see. Okay, so mic is good. That's good. Thanks, Steve, keeping us keeping it real with the audio and the video feed. Okay, Steve. So now that we went through all these markets, you are also becoming very, very quickly, Steve. I mean, I'm tickled because you show me what's capable when somebody actually applies themselves to OMA and the course and everything, which is awesome. So happy about that. And with that said, you know, I'm going to be curious to see as we get more people coming through if people get it as fast as you're getting it, because you're really getting it. But I think the reason you're getting it is because it's the course combined with the live streaming, right? The practical application of the concepts in the course every single day. It's just like, and you're picking it up so quickly. So with that said, my point with that was that I wanted to know if you see anything or you have any comments about anything that I've gone over here as we lay the foundation for the day. Let me know if you've got any comments about anything. And if you don't, then I will play the premiere of the video and we will talk a bit and continue to lay the groundwork for, I believe it's PP. It's the core. Okay, it's the core PCE. Yeah, I mean, that's the Fed's favorite inflation indicator. So that's going to rock the market. Probably everything's going to be, that's kind of one of the, you know, that's like a non-farm payrolls type announcement right now in the current inflation environment. So I'm guessing the market, everything's just going to not do anything until that comes out. We're forecast for 3% on the core PCE. Previous was 3.2. So they're planning on it coming down. So what could really rock these markets here is if the core PCE comes in at, you know, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know. If that does happen, you're going to see bonds collapse, rates spike. You're going to see the dollar spike in strength against the euro. And then you're going to have, you know, a shit show for stocks and metals all day that we can just short and be all over. So let's hope that the news is that catalyst, right? Usually these news announcements like to strike when there's a lot of people who are, you know, on one side of the market sort of mispositioned. I think right now the majority of people are long this stock market up here. And, you know, a big core PCE number today, higher than expectations, would really rock that market and catch a lot of people off sides. So that could happen. If it does, we will certainly be ready. So Steve said, yes, much better. Okay, great. Absolutely. Live stream really helps. Yeah, I'm still waking up. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Wake up, get your coffee. Play the premiere of the video here. And let me just get this rocking and rolling here. Let me play this for you. Alright guys, in this video we're going to get into the top 3 real reasons why so many traders fail at trading. There's going to be no fluff in this video. I'm going to get straight to the point. These are the hard truths that nobody else is telling you, but you need to hear this if you ever want to have a fighting chance in hell at consistent success with your own trading, okay? So the first major reason that most traders fail and why you're probably going to fail is because you don't have an edge. Most traders fall into the trap of using outdated indicators or price action strategies that either don't work or they're too complex to actually follow. So even if you are lucky enough to find something that works, it's too complex for you to actually follow. Or even if it works in certain market conditions, it's going to become unreliable when market conditions change. So this is the number one reason, and it's number one on my list, because if you don't have a repeatable, definable edge that'll take you through all market conditions, nothing else matters. You will lose. Okay, so now even if you find a winning strategy, the next challenge where traders are going to fail, and this is why it's number 2 on my list, is that you need to learn how to use that strategy, right? So many traders struggle because the people guiding them are either not skilled at teaching, or even worse, They're simply shit traders making YouTube videos. So you wouldn't try to fly a plane without learning from a pilot. You wouldn't try and, do surgery without learning from a surgeon. You guys know all this, right? So why are you trying to copy some scalper you just found on YouTube, right? So even if he is making money for now, right, while the market is in his favor, the type of trading that he's doing, the odds are that you won't make money. And even if you get lucky, luck runs out when market conditions change, okay? So you need to find not only a proven system with strategies that work through all market conditions, but you need someone who can break everything down, provide clear explanations, and teach you how to use it with ongoing support. If you don't have those things, you're not going to succeed, right? So to think that you're going to have lasting success without all this is delusional thinking. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? So you're going to continue to fail. You're never going to reach consistency. You're going to burn out, and then you're going to quit and cry and join the cynical ranks of the 95% who failed, and you're going to spend the rest of your life whining about it. And I don't want that for you, which is why I'm sharing this with you. But I'm not done. Let's not forget the final reason that traders fail, okay? It's practice. Successful trading is not just about finding a real edge and also being lucky enough to come across someone who can actually teach you how to use it. It's about consistently applying your knowledge. Many traders are going to fail because they don't invest enough time into actually honing their skills and replicating their strategies through all the different market cycles that are constantly coming and going. These are the sad truths. Sure, scalping super fast price action might seem exciting and fun, but it's not a definable, repeatable process. So even if you see someone on YouTube who can make profit from this type of scalping, odds are almost 100% that you won't be able to do it because it's not definable, it's not repeatable, okay? So in conclusion, to break the cycle of failure, you gotta find a strategy that works, learn from a skilled teacher, and practice so you can learn how to use that through all market conditions. Don't fall for the allure of quick riches, right? Success in trading actually comes from discipline, patience, tons and tons of hard work, and a well-defined, repeatable process. If you don't have those things, you're not going to succeed no matter how much hope you have. Hope is not going to get you over the finish line, okay? So people are after the grand illusion, the promises of fast and easy trading profits, but the truth is, easy come, easy go. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm going to leave you guys with a quote from one of my favorite authors, Thoreau. He said that something is worth the amount of life you are willing to give for it. I get chills when I say that, and you should too. So what have you given for your trading? What's the price in time, money, and effort that you're willing to exchange for trading success that'll put you and keep you in the top 5% of all traders? Only you can answer that question. All right, you guys. So that right there, yeah, it's a great quote. And yeah, just that. I'm gonna start making more videos like that because it really does come from my heart, and all that comes from my own journey. Right? You can always teach the best that you experienced in your own life. And for me, trading has led somewhere very special for me in my life, but that's because of all the pain and suffering that I've gone through, over many years, a long time ago, to get it right. And not easy, and you got to sacrifice a lot. And that's why I'm so, once you work through that sacrifice, you end up just loving it because of the journey you've been on to get to where you are. And I still have a long way to go. I'm by no means anywhere near what I want to achieve, but it's, when you're getting to that stage where you're really honing in on your craft, start to look back on just how many obstacles you had to overcome to get there. That's the point of this channel, is to try and help people, because I really do believe that the more that we give to each other, the more that we get back. And if everybody just helps each other, the world would be a lot better place. Right now, we kind of live in a dog eat dog world where everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people are just trying to make a quick buck and take advantage of people. Anyways, I thought that video explained what I felt, and I woke up at 5 a.m. So I had some time to do some artistic, creative expression, which is nice. I do enjoy it. So, yeah, exactly, Steve. You can relate to the hell you've been through. I mean, I think we've all been there. You know, if the thing is, and we'll get to the charts in a second, but we're waiting for core PCE anyways. But the thing is, you guys, that if you haven't been through hell to get to a very consistent place with your trading, then you probably haven't been through the ringer yet. And every single person will tell you who's made it or is making it, that in order to not only make it and achieve consistency, keep that consistency and build on it, you're going to get whacked a couple times, and you're going to go through some very, very, very painful experiences. So, you know, I've lost 7 figures before in a very, very short amount of time. And when you work, happened many years ago, but when you work really hard to build something up and then you make mistakes and you just, it's gone so much quicker than it took you to build it up, that's going to either break you or it's going to make you stronger. And if it does make you, you're going to learn from it, and it's going to change you as a human being. And these are the types of experience that, you know, not that you have to lose 7 figures, but these are the types of experiences that you go through as a trader that ultimately shape you, will hopefully help you find consistency. And if anything, it sure will humble you. So even if you end up being a trader or not, you're going to live a more humbled life. This is why I made that video about the influencers, because it's anybody who's made it in trading, it's the exact opposite of what these people are projecting in YouTube world. And it's the exact opposite of everything I see in every other chat out there on YouTube. I'm not saying it's filled with bad people. There's some good people for sure. But, you know, the bling bling and the influencer type stuff is way more prevalent. And when you know what it takes to, you know, really achieve success, and I've been around a lot of traders who are way more successful than me. These guys are some of the nicest, most humble people you'll ever meet. And why? Because they went through fucking hell to get to where they are. And by the time you get there, you don't take anything for granted. You're not a baller. You're not blinging it up all over the place. You're just not, you know? So, and for me, that's also what keeps me really grounded during winning periods. Don't get excited. During losing periods, I try not to get too down. No, like, just keep following your plan. Everything will always come back. Steve said, that's why this live stream along with OMA can help so much. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like trading, when you actually have somebody who does care about, you know, having you succeed, it makes all the difference in the world. But, you know, I understand a lot of people have been just burned by horrible people. So I do get that. But I think I'm doing this too, because I wish I had it. Even though my mentor was, like I said, a genius at sort of at the craft for himself, he actually wasn't a great teacher at all. In fact, he was a pretty poor teacher, but still, you know, great, one of the best traders ever. But not a great teacher, and that's kind of what inspired me to get out and start teaching on my own. Because I'd been asked to teach for them. Not the right environment for me. All right, so enough of this. I'm probably going to be very sentimental today, you guys. I'm tired and it's rainy. I'm feeling quite sentimental, but it's kind of a nice feeling sometimes. I feel very like humble and in touch with everything. Sentimental. All right, so we've got 8:15, core PCE out in 14 minutes. Get ready for that. All right. So, and you know, today for me, guys, I'm kind of hoping anything can happen, right? So tired that it would be nice if a really good trade sets up at 8:30 in the news or at 9. I would love to make some money and go to sleep because I'm really tired. So I'll give you guys how long I can go, but it's been a long week with having COVID or whatever this is that I have. Thrilled that we've been able to be consistent and get through it and make money every day and keep it steady, right? So I want to end the week on a good note, and I don't want to make poor decisions due to my fatigue. If I get trade, that'll probably be it for me. Let's just wait and see if and when the market wants to deliver that. Then I can take a nap, Steve, and you can alert me to anything later during the New York afternoon. I tried taking a nap earlier, but you know, when you drink coffee, kind of too like tired, but it's caffeinated. Yeah, like I find it, I guess it's pretty unbelievable. The reason people tune into these like Top Step TV and stuff, I guess it's just, it's like entertainment and they do giveaways. So, but that's why most traders are going to fail. And that's why I said that in that video, kind of blunt about it. They're going to fail because they just don't, in the end, they don't take trading seriously enough. And look, that's in the end, that's also not a bad thing, right? Because everybody can't be a winner, not in this game that's zero sum. But there's room for more. We'll do our best to pull as many along as possible. And Steve, right? You can see this is why OMA just works. The market conditions, it doesn't matter. Whatever the market's doing, you have all the charts, you have all the patterns shifting. Once you learn how to plug it into the scoreboard, you're just constantly adapting to the market that you're in. Yeah, exactly. A lot of dopamine junkies out there, a lot, and that's the world we live in, right? People addicted to short-term stuff. I mean, look, you can't even scroll on your mobile phone. You know, so many just disgusting things to look at, advertisements, stuff like. I feel bad for young. All right, let's get ready for this, you guys. It's about 8:20. I'm pretty sure ES, you know, I'm not really interested in. NQ, not really. It's pre-market. It'll be thin. Definitely bonds. You know, those are going to move big time on this core PCE. And if that, you know, I think the metals could be a bit too volatile because this is sort of, you got to treat each news announcement differently, right? So having seen thousands of these, you know, core PCE, especially right now in this environment, this is pretty similar to like a Fed announcement or an NFP, right? Oh, I said in the chat earlier, Steve, in the members area, I said, hey, I'll see you at NFP. I was so tired. I thought NFP was today. Core PCE. Anyways, core PCE is treated like NFP for me because of the inflation. It's the most important inflation number that the Fed itself looks at, or at least that's what they say. Anyways, it can rock the market. My point with all this is that I'll trade different instruments around the news depending on the release. So you'll see when we trade FOMC, when we trade NFP, that's when I'll usually trade the 10-year because I want to focus on bonds during those announcements. And I like the 10-year because it's just a little bit more thick. So sometimes I'll do the ultra bond, but it can just get a little bit more crazy on the news. But let's look. We got the 10-year here. Well, this is really because silver and gold and things like that. Yeah, if you catch them right, sure, you can have huge wins, but they get so thin on an announcement like this that if you're in on a silver contract and you're wrong, oh, it'd be fun. You know, so that's why I don't do that. You know, I'm always thinking about risk first. Okay, so let's get ready for PCE with the 10-year Treasury note. Do I see any key levels? Yeah, because I'll show you guys. You can see. I'm just going to bring the hourly over. Look at these hourly bars. You guys see this? Just take a look at all these hourly bars. I'll go back. That was some kind of news, I remember, but that wasn't that big. I'll go and show you what can really happen sometimes when this market gets caught off sides, because it's worth seeing. That's a pretty big one here. Get 111, 19 down to 111.9, but there's some bigger ones. I've seen, the 10-year sometimes you can see these like this. This is what I'm talking about. You'll see sometimes this is what can happen on NFP or one of these types of announcements. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but keep in mind this is what can happen, right? So look at the range here on the 10-year treasury. That's 112.16, 111, 20. That is a massive move for the most liquid government bond, in this case note, in the world. The 10-year is the benchmark. So that's the kind of thing you can see happen. And oh, you don't see Z. Oh, well, the reason for that, Steve, is that you have to, their symbol for ZN is TY. It's 10-year. So type in TYH 24. And for the 30-year, just type in USH. The 30 is US, and the 10-year is TY. Ultra bond is still UB. Yes, I'm aware of the TradeStation Ultra bond data. For whatever reason, they don't have a continuous contract on the Ultra bond. I don't know why, but you can just look at the 30-year for the longer-term data on TradeStation. Ultimately, you're going to want to get Sierra charts for the volume. That's why I was with TradeStation for a long time, and I still have them as a backup, but Sierra charts with the yearly, quarterly charts, and all the volume info is just awesome. Pay a little bit more for it each month, but it's so worth it. It worked. Okay, yeah. So you got the 10-year. Nice. Okay, so we'll see. Let's look at the Ultra bond too. I'll trade the Ultra bond sometimes as well. Basically, like here, the 10-year, I would say I would be interested in, if we were to spike up above 111.18. Now there's a lot of resistance here. You can see 111.19. You see on the 4-hour here and on the hourly here, you certainly could fire up there and then come back down. So I suppose I'll just look at the we'll look at the 10-year, because that's probably the one I trade. Look at Ultra bonds too. Just I like the 10-year, because if they get crazy, they'll all get crazy, and the 10-year just kind of gives you the best opportunity to participate with the liquidity. And for those of you who are trading along here, I don't know what the latency is, so we should do a latency check. So Steve, right now I've got 8:26 and 15 seconds now. 20 seconds. 25 seconds. 30 seconds. Maybe you can give me an idea of what we've got for latency. Neighbor with his loud car. Not a loud car guy. Oh no, it's the garbage truck. Oh, that's good. that's then I'm thankful. They're taking the garbage. Okay, you weren't ready. No problem, Steve. Let's do it real quick. Right now it is 8:27 and 30 seconds right now. 35 seconds. 40 seconds. Let me know. That was okay. We got to check this. So let me know, because that's a lot if that's the latency. Let me know when your clock hits 28 minutes, 8:28 on the nose. Okay, so let me know when it hits 8:28 on the nose. You can just put a Y or something. Okay, so we're about 8 seconds latency, guys. So keep that in mind. Right now we're 8 seconds. So you're going to have to watch your own charts. I'm telling you here, I like what I'm seeing overall. You know, we potentially have, we've got a very key level up at these highs here, 111.18-ish, 111.19. You've got last month's VWAP up there. You've got last week's closing VWAP right there. They're stacked. You know, you've got some resistance up there. So am I saying it's going to hold? No, because I don't know what the announcement's going to be. I'm saying there's a ton of resistance. I'm going to watch that level very carefully. And, you know, depending on the price, if it even gets there, number one, and how it reacts, you know, I'm going to see if there's a trade. So letting you guys know, keep that in mind. And we've got 35 seconds. I've got an order at 19, but again, just me, depending what happens, I might take it off. If it gets filled and I don't like what I see, you know, that's my order for now. Might get blown out of the water. I raise it to 20. Order at 20. My order's up there at 20. We didn't get there. We got the 16.5 so far. That's what I'm looking for. You guys see how that ran up there? Yeah, a little further, it would have gone up, filled me, and then dropped. That's what I'm looking for. Because we're in line with the daily energy. So it still might go up there. You know, these are action of the daily. Sometimes, you know, you leave that order out there, it'll just run up there, fill you, and it's a nice, can be a good trading opportunity. So, we'll learn more too when we see what the. I'm going to pull that order at an order there. Now I just want to kind of scroll through and see what the market is doing. Look at the ultra bonds. Also dropping nicely. Okay. Looks like the market, if bonds are going down here, rates are going up. Right now, it looks like core PCE came in hotter than expected. If that's the case, the stock market could get torched, especially if the dollar gets strong. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and look at NQ. The NQ, you know, not buying it yet, but I'll tell you what, on the daily chart here for NQ, if we break that low right in there below, if we get below 17.5, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, you know, that could be one of those moves down to 17.3 pretty quickly. Look at the volume profile over here. You guys see how that's just an air pocket. So let's see if bonds continue to confirm and the dollar gets stronger. Might be a nice day. Let's look at silver. We're up at 22.94, dropping nicely. So copper hasn't dropped yet. Yeah, it is looking good, I think, too, Steve. I want to see what the actual number did come out at. Okay, so it came out at 2.9, which is weird. So this might be a fake out. That's a pretty favorable number for the market and for bonds to go up. So maybe this is a fake out. This core PCE 2.9, PCE price index 2.6. So it kind of came out in line. So I'll have to read Zero Hedge when they release, but this could be a fake out to the downside based off the number. But we'll see. Go ahead and check bonds again. I mean, the pattern on the bonds is still down on the daily, so it doesn't matter. But I find it interesting that bonds are tanking, even though that number was pretty friendly for bonds. Look at Zero Hedge. Don't have any true from a bond auction today. We'll need you guys. All right. So, patience is the name of the game. Going to be patient, and I promise to be a bit more entertaining and lively when I'm feeling better. But for now, I got to conserve my energy for trading, and can't really be a stand-up comedian right now. But I'll have a little bit more fun on the stream when I'm feeling better. So I wouldn't be surprised to see bonds try and suck back up here based on that number. The pattern is still down for the bonds for sure, but there's still some support here. So that was a pretty... I'm going to look... I'm kind of interested in that support level at 111.5 for the 10-year because you've got quite a lot of support there on the 4-hourly and the hourly and the daily. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything. It's just an area I'm watching based on that number. The pattern's still down on the daily, but you have a lot of support here. I'm just kind of... Dollar's getting a little stronger right now. This is not a trade or anything. This is a key level to see how bonds are going to respond to this number that was, actually quite inflation friendly, which means, the bond market should like that, push higher, but instead we're pushing lower. So actually happens. So just keep an eye on this. It's kind of like the 04 level. Right down in here. You got the daily near low right there. And you've got this 4-hourly and hourly, key support level. So I'm just curious. Again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just curious to see, if that stabilizes the bond market on the back of that number that wasn't, super negative. Super negative for the bond market, meaning it wasn't a super high inflation number. Never know how the market's going to interpret it, but let's see. Keeping an eye on dollars 1.0880. Gold still 2020, so gold's not really that much lower. Silver's not much lower. Bonds are kind of heading lower by themselves right now. Why I think based on that number, there's a chance. I still like the short side overall for the day, but doesn't mean we won't find support here and round trip back to the highs, right? You never know. So no trade, but we're using this to gauge the overall sentiment. Yeah, exactly. I hope they also pop up, back toward the highs. Or well, I mean, I hope they tank, because if they tank, that would just mean that the dollar will get strong. Hopefully, bonds would be falling, rates rising, then metals would set up some great shorts for today. So that would be awesome. Yeah, exactly. That I would say that kind of that 111 003 is the line in the sand for me. 111.04, because you've got the daily near low right here at 4. You got a lot of support there at 4. Doesn't mean it'll hold, but it'll be interesting to see. Right now, it's showing support. You can see already. You also have a lot of support there on the daily as well. So I'm gonna see if it punch. Usually, I want to punch down through that, feel it out a little bit, and see if it sucks back up or not. That'll kind of this is. I'm watching this carefully now in the 10-year, because this is going to give me my clues for how to trade the other markets today. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Lining them all up is important. Dollars at 0884. Yeah, I mean, gold's not buying it yet. Silver's not buying. Stocks aren't collapsing, even though so I think bonds. We'll see. Bonds are kind of the odd one out right now. See if these were the odd ones out, in a different context, I'd be willing to buy them. But right here, I don't think it's a horrible place. A long down in here if it holds. Not a trade I'm going to be calling out. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Platinum's not buying. You see ultra bonds are sucking up now as well. Yeah. Let's see. I really 10-year try and just push down into like 4.5, 5. But this might be all we get. The 30-year here. Sucking back up. Gold. Just wait. Kind of, you see the market just, it's just, look at this congestion on gold, tight action. Everything's just kind of a little confused at the moment. And we're navigating it quite well. So let's go ahead and do our check for 9 a.m. Yes. And let's see. So, yes. Got some resistance up here, but nothing I see that I'm nuts about taking. I'm not going to do anything on stocks for 9 a.m. Look at bonds. Interesting. Bonds kind of. So bonds number wasn't, the number was kind of in line, which could help stabilize bonds today, but you do have a strong potential resistance pattern on the daily, and you might have a strong resistance pattern here on the hourly ultra bonds. See, it's kind of trending down here. But again, this is the hard part with these news announcements, guys. You get this outside bar. Those are difficult to trade. Lately, there's been a lot of these outside bars because of the confusion. You get that when the market the way it is right now. But that could be setting up a potential short. The only thing I don't like about it is you're going against, some potentially strong daily support, but the daily pattern for now looks weak. We'll see. It's a potential short on bonds. Look at gold. The gold is just a mess, so we're not getting any clues for bonds with gold, but it could also be a short pattern there. I mean, it's in congestion, but it also could be what we saw in silver yesterday. Remember when we shorted silver? It was kind of a similar pattern. We shorted, and then silver just wouldn't drop. Remember? And this kind of looks similar. Doesn't mean it won't drop. We're not getting any major clues. I wouldn't short gold, but it's going to be a proxy for bonds. Here's silver. Silver is going to be, I think silver would be a potentially, if we sucked back up to that 23. Here we are back at 2304 with silver. If we suck back up to 2303 on silver, maybe. But the dollar really check this out. Copper's pushing higher, so copper likes that or PCE. Oh, look at platinum. Yeah, just like you said. Good job, Steve. Keeping an eye on the scoreboard, my man. This is good. You can. When I'm tired like this, you just keep me on track. Yeah, platinum's not buying it at all. So you definitely don't want to short silver or bonds when copper and platinum, especially platinum, are rallying like this. Yes, this is how you stay out of trouble. I know it's not sexy to stay out of trouble, right? It's much more sexy for people to just take stupid trades and get in trouble. It's like the bad boy syndrome, People always wonder, why do girls go after the bad guys? I don't know. It's drama. Drama and drama. Here's crude and nat gas. Good news is I'm kind of settling in and getting my second win for the day. Pace myself. I could. Money. Nat gas. Anything I like there? Look at Bitcoin. I got to remember to check Bitcoin. I did a good job. I checked it at 8 a.m. So let's check Bitcoin here. No, I didn't. I checked the daily. I mean, if Bitcoin got up to 42,425, 42,425, yeah, it's probably unlikely to get there. But if it did, got some nice resistance up there potentially. So, keep an eye on that. Let's look at Ethereum again. Ethereum would be around 2,300. Nothing there on the. So let's go ahead and just recycle quickly. Let's look at the bonds again. The bonds. I mean, the bonds. The ultra bond doesn't look bad here. Trending down on the hourly. Not horrible. But the hourly volume profile. Well, Keep an eye on it. I'm not seeing anything I'm super nuts about because of. It's like if I was gonna short bonds, well, feel comfortable shorting silver, but I don't feel comfortable shorting silver because of seeing in the dollar what we're seeing in platinum, copper, getting mixed. Look at platinum is off to the races here. Platinum likes that number a lot. So we'll see platinum and copper, which are, platinum's still precious, but it's more like what, catalytic converters and things like that. These are more industrial, right? Platinum and especially copper, obviously, right? They like, what they're telling us right now is that they like this core PCE number. So if they like that number, then bonds could stabilize and push higher as rates come down. Stocks could push higher. Dollar, yeah, look, the euro is back above 109. So the market likes this number. Let's see what zero hedge has. So let's see. Savings rate slumps. Fed's favorite inflation signal hits 2 handle. One of the Fed's favorite inflation indicators, core PCE, that's what we just looked at, tumbled to 2.9% year over year in December. Okay, the lowest since March. Headline PCE rose, holding at, okay, that was the number we just got. The headline rose, but the core tumbled. They use the word tumbled. While durable good orders year over year deflation continued. Okay. Services costs accelerated. So this is why I like zero hedge. They really break it down. The Fed's perspective, services, inflation, except shelter, and the peak equivalent shows that it has broken down from its sticky levels, lowest since March 2021. But we did see 0.3% jump. Okay. They dig down into the number, which is considerably bigger than the last. Spending. See, this is a mixed number under the hood. So savings rate tumble. So the markets really like the disinflation aspect of this, and the fact that the Fed might cut because of the disinflation. Yeah, they say the mass reduction in inflation has been cyclical. We all know that. So I think it looks like the market is going to, I think, like this number, but we don't know. We don't trade the numbers, but we need to know what the numbers are doing. Yeah, exactly. UB is starting to move up. Yeah, exactly. See, that's what we were seeing there. So the good call there, Steve. That is why platinum and copper were rallying. Loud. Let's look at yeah, look, stocks are rallying for now. Yeah, we'll see how they close. It'll give us some information, but stocks look pretty strong here, this trend run now. I mean, I think this we could see a squeeze today on this number, depending. Keep an eye on this. Stocks look pretty. The fact that we didn't roll over yesterday, we closed near the highs, at least on ES. But we'll see. It's gonna have a lot of resistance to contend with up there at 49.32. This. Well, I'm not gonna take that. Look at NASDAQ. Just be incredibly patient and wait for the right setups. Dow and the Russell. It looks to me the ultra's trying to squeeze here. I wouldn't short this. It looks like we want to go back toward the highs, and I'm going to be very careful about shorting bonds as well. just based on that number. That's important. And the way the market's responding to that number, you know, bonds could potentially push up through their highs today. So we got to be careful. The numbers change things. But the charts will tell us. Let's look at gold. Because the euro does have a strong pattern against the dollar as well. So I could see bonds stabilizing, pushing higher, rates down, dollar weaker, euro stronger. If gold, silver, copper, and platinum confirm, and the market is squeezing higher, then we have sort of a risk on day. So right now it's looking like shifting a bit towards risk on. Yeah, yeah, that's really a personal preference for you there. You can go either way with these. I'm not going to go along that, but sometimes those can be great. Because you got to ask yourself where you put in the stop. But I guess if you're willing to put your stop, you know, down here around 110, then you're not risking a whole lot. I don't think it's, I mean, if you want my opinion, it depends on how aggressive you want to be. I don't think it's a bad trade, but I think there are better ones. But don't let me influence you. You know, the good news about the 10 years, it's such a small contract, put on one. But don't make your trading decisions based on, oh, well, it's cheap, I'll just put it on. You know, you gotta trade what you trade. Look at the euro US. But yeah, I think it could continue to head higher. Here's the euro against the US dollar. Euro looks pretty bullish here. 4 hours breaking through resistance. The dailies so far looking, you know, kind of strong for now. Guys, I still think, you know, coming weeks, strong dollar, weak bonds, rising rates, metals getting, we're going to resume, I think, you know, the overall downtrend and what we're seeing. Just that today, it looks like, you know, stocks might want to try and squeeze a little higher. My little pumpkin is home and she's crying and screaming. She's tired, sick. I have to work hard at not letting it annoy me. Yeah, the outside bars are just, I typically, I don't like them. Yeah, it's a lot of support there at 126 for, I could see him going either way. I don't see anything that I particularly like, to be honest. Gold is still pretty, because I think we need a little bit more time to see how the market reacts to this number. Silver, I think, could still drop today. Silver looks, you know, that's not a bad little, I don't know. I don't like anything. They just, you can see the market's confused by this number. The fact that we can see that, like, hey, no need to force it, right? Let's just let the market tell us. I mean, copper is kind of interesting because you do have a decent 4-hour resistance level up here. That hourly right there is these markets are just kind of all over the place for now. Let's look at the euro against the dollar. Outside bar. And the outside bars are just tough to read. They just really are. And they should be because they're exploring way outside. They make the price action, you know, just they kind of mess up. So I think I'm just content to wait. I don't really see, yeah, I'm just going to wait to the open because I don't really see anything that I like right now, Steve. So let's take a break. I like being able to just, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, and I like when you do that, and I'm happy to just give you my feedback for sure. Okay, let's just take, I'm just going to take a few minutes, you guys, until, you know, let's say till 9:15. check crude here. Did I check crude for the? Here's crude. I don't see. Firing over here. Got a lot of support down there at 2.13 on nat gas, but it's hard to buy that in free fall, so I'm not going to. All right. So I'm gonna just leave. I'll leave the ultra bond up. Yeah, look, the ultra bond's going for it. You see. I think it is going to potentially be risk on, so we'll have to like find the best trade we can, and I'm just going to have to do my best to stay awake. My eyes are falling shut. I get like the second wind, and then I start falling asleep. So here's the 10-year. Ultra bond is squeezing. I don't want to get sucked in any bad trades here. So I'm going to wait for the open, Steve. I'll be back in about 15 minutes, okay? What do you want me to leave up? Do you have a particular market you want me to watch or leave up? Okay, UB, yeah. I'll leave that up. It's moving around a lot heading into the 9 a.m. close as well. Jumping. But yeah, we want to wait till open and see what we got. We're going to get some answers. I don't know what it's like. That's the great part, you know, just knowing that you can look at everything and go, you know what? I don't know. Nothing's clear. That's great. People get in trouble when it's not clear and they don't have a plan to know when it's not clear and then putting on trades and losing money, right? So, okay, I'll be back in 15. All right, we got bonds trying to drop a little, I see. Break with my child. Wait for these markets. About 9:15 a.m. you guys. For those checking in, waiting for the stock market open 30. See if there's any good trades to put on. Still waiting for a little bit of clarity from the scoreboard, the different asset classes. Take our trades when we're clear. And I'm still under the weather, so got about 5 hours of sleep. A little tired today, but doing my best. Gonna push through. No trades yet today. Goal here, as always, be consistent. That's the thing too. It's like, so far the results on the channel are very good since we started streaming live, and I think the thing that I'm most focused on and my goal in terms of what to maintain, obviously good results are important, but it's more, risk management and keeping I like to keep drawdowns low. That's my goal, is to manage risk and let the wins take care of themselves. And that's something I want to start advertising heavily on the channel. People, yeah, our streams, you have to wait and be patient and follow the trading plan, but you will learn a lot. And if you are patient, then you have the added benefit of just not taking these huge drawdowns like some of these other channels I'm seeing. Some of the traders are decent traders, but they're also just they get whacked. I don't know. I don't think that's not for me anyway. I'm focused on managing my risk, and that's the way I like to do it. Steve, I don't know. I'll have to check that for you. What Sierra charge package? I think it's because they got a bunch of different numbers, right? Like package 11, 12, 13. I can't remember their numbers off the top of my head here. A couple seconds. Thing about Sierra charts is you have to have a brokerage account with one of the brokers that they are connected to. They're connected to a lot of brokers. You got to have a live broker account with one of the brokers they're connected to, so that when you get the Teton data from Sierra Chart, which is like their data, which is really good for volume profile and all that stuff, when you get Sierra Chart's Teton order routing, their data with the tick data is great for volume charts. That's why I love Sierra Charts and using Owings market analysis on Sierra Charts, because the tick data is just so good. So you don't have to trade with Sierra Charts. You just have to have a live account so you can get the discounted CME pricing on the live data. Let me see there. Searching. I can't remember off the top of my head. Service packages. So I have, I believe, either 11 or 12. I think 11. I don't think I need 12. Yeah. I believe I have 11. Package 11, I think. Yeah. Service package 11. $46 a month with Sierra. And then the data is another, I don't know, 35 or 40. It's like 80. It's like $100, $80 a month or something like that. My opinion, it's well worth it. Package 11. I'll be so happy when this cold is gone. Where it is, I don't know. I'm happy when it's gone. Just switching the light. Pretty good. Oh, nice. Yes, is dropping. See a lot of fake outs in this market. Exercise clock. So heading into the open. See, now we have the dollar trying to get stronger against the euro again. See here for now. We'll see. I think it's going to be a choppy day because you do have a temporary, pretty strong support level down here. Temporary, but nonetheless, I think the euro dollar is going to be, unless something radically changes, but I think it's, even if the dollar gets down to, 108.60, I think we're going to be pretty range bound here on the euro US dollar. See how that goes, but that's what it looks like. Crude's, bullish overall, so kind of waiting for a pullback there. I don't think it's going to, like, here's platinum, right? So platinum, you got some resistance up here, but nothing I'm going to short against that right now. I know we're going to do the stock market open. I just want to get a sense of what the assets are telling us. Copper, I mean, copper is not a bad little short here, but bad. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to keep a close eye on copper today, especially if bonds keep dropping. Yeah, there's silver, so that's what I thought could have happened with the pullback patterns, but bonds weren't really, bonds are choppy right now. But it looks for now, the gold heading down, silver heading down, copper probably going to head down. Dollar, euro dollar, I think it's going to be choppy. Rates. Here's the ultra bond here. I mean, you still got a lot of support here. We don't really know what rates are doing yet. So not a lot of clarity so far, but stocks, I mean, the fact that ES, the fact that ES got shut down there, interesting. But that daily trend run up is still pretty strong for now. So, I still think for now, especially if bonds stabilize and push higher heading into the open, euro can get back above 109. I don't know, you're going against a short pattern, but you've got, the pattern that I like to take at the open is when you've got a really nice setup on the hourly indices and you're going with, the daily. Today, the daily is kind of tough to read because you're trending up, but you have some resistance up here. Let's look at the NASDAQ. I mean, the NASDAQ looks weaker for sure. So if the NASDAQ looks weak, ES should follow like it did last time. Very strong. So stocks are going to go down. Bonds could end up pushing down here the rest of the hour. that's the case, if stocks would go down, I think copper follow. I might have to short. I want to focus on the indices at the open, but I have a feeling this is not a bad little setup here for copper. Yeah, I'll look at that in a sec, Steve. Right now, I'm just kind of, I think indices look weak for now. Copper looks, there's a lot of resistance up here on copper, so I might set an order on copper at 3.872 with a stop at 3.88. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to set an order short at copper, 3.872 with a stop at 3.88. Basically 3.88, and I've got an order in there for copper. Just, I don't want to chase, I think it's going to drop. I don't want to chase it down here, but it could get a little volatile at the open. I think I like copper the best for a potential short here, so we'll just go ahead and watch this at the open. So I'm trying to short copper around 3.872. Based on what we're seeing in indices, bonds, gold and silver are well off the highs for now. Copy for the dollar. So got a pretty good little setup here, potentially for copper. The hourly is kind of a strong resistance pattern, and the 4-hourly. We'll see. If it gets filled and I don't like it, I can always cut it quickly. The way the market's reacting to that number is interesting. Got about 2 minutes to go here. 10-year. I'm going to get to your 10-year question in a sec, Steve. I just have to focus. Yeah, the 10-year's heading down. Yeah, there is some support potentially here, but I don't know. The fact that we are heading lower, I think things are heading lower now. Rates higher. Stocks look down right now. So copper has been pretty overextended here. So that's why I'm going to try and get short copper. See what happens. The order is in at 3.872. Short. About 55 seconds. Top is at 3.805. Got about 30 seconds right now. Because I like this short for copper at 9 a.m., but at that point, I wasn't really sure what bonds were going to do. Bonds, at least right now, look weak. So I think it's a good trade, regardless of what. 4 seconds. Open. Got the order up there because I don't want to chase. Are you short copper, Steve? You usually take my picks better than I do, which is that's good for our hedge fund later, Steve. my cautiousness and you're like, nah, he wants to take it, I'm taking it. Okay, just don't be in a rush with those accounts. But do what feels best. You've got a good, my analysis is, my analysis. So manage them good. I would say if this thing starts to run and it really goes, stop to break even and let it try and run and put you over the finish line. I'm gonna cycle. I've got my order in, but I'm just gonna cycle around quick. Here's ES. Yeah, so ES is pretty choppy here. Bonds are really the kicker for copper, especially. Yeah, 10-year is really trying to drop here. So I hope 10-year drops and copper pops up and fills me short. The Dow. Oh yeah, Dow's pushing. It really pushes here. Gotta be careful. I like if bonds are dropping, I like it, but we gotta be vigilant. It can get filled. Weak. Gold's weak. Yeah, it's a scary trade because stocks are trying to push higher, but bonds are heading lower. Yields are up. Yeah, look at the yields here. I mean, if I get filled, I'm gonna let it get filled, and if it starts to go against me, I'm gonna cut it quickly, but because I don't want it to follow stocks higher. There could be some support here for bonds, but I'm gonna leave my order in. I'm not filled. Filled. Anything can happen here. I mean, stocks keep wanting to push higher, but just with bonds pushing lower, copper could drop. Monitoring it. I don't like that. I'm going to close it. It may be the wrong decision, but the reason I closed it is because I don't like what I'm seeing with silver is kind of sucking back up for now. 10-year is kind of stabilizing. So it's up to you, Steve, what you want to do. I don't dislike it. I might be wussing out a little bit, but I just, stocks, I want to see stocks look a little strong. And it just, I think stocks could squeeze. And if stocks squeeze, they could drive copper higher. So you do what you want, but if it gets back to your entry, I might get out. Might mean you miss out on a winner, but it's up to you, man. I closed mine for a little bit of profit just because of where I got in. And it could totally drop, you know, it's just up to you. I'm looking at this daily chart with stocks right here. And yes, especially tired. I might be overthinking it. We'll see. I mean, NASDAQ's dropping nicely. That could be good for your copper. 10 years kind of, it just looks like it's going to be a choppy day. The 10 years for now, stabilizing. I'm going to wait for a little more information. Totally up to you, Steve. I think you're, you know, close to your break even now, so I'll leave that up. Nothing to write home about. Difficult markets. Right, I didn't volume profile there. Great. We're right at the monthly point of control with copper. Why it's a little choppy here. Okay. Yeah, it's up to you. You know, I mean, I don't think it's a bad trade at all. I'm just too tired to push it, and I am seeing the 10-year kind of stabilize here. It's not like, for me, the 10-year is not off to the races yet, because this is a lot of potential support here. Potential. I hope it breaks. If this level on the 10-year breaks, you'll be looking good for your copper short. But if it holds, you know, something we got to keep an eye on. I believe we'll get a close here. Yeah, we're going to get a close. So we'll prepare because we got 20 minutes. Yeah, I would, you know, I'm not going to worry about your trading. You're a big boy. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. But look, you know, you took a little shot on it. And if I know you, you just went one contract. So, you know, what'd you lose? 70, 80 bucks or something? That's no big deal. And those are the kind of, that's the way I like to manage risk. If I'm in and I just kind of don't see stuff that I like, I just close it. And sometimes it, you know, believe me, I'll close it and then it'll go, you know, immediately, you know, right in my direction. It's like, oh, had I left it open for 5 more seconds, I would have made $1,000. You know, that's happened a lot. But for me, if I see or I'm sensing that I don't want to be in it, I'm okay with it going without me. And I feel worse if I feel like I want to close it, but I don't, you know. So in copper, it's, you know, we're still, even though it could be topping out up here, we have to realize the fact that we are shorting against, yeah, 100. That's smart. You know, we're shorting against still a pretty strong market up in here, you know. So, And if stocks squeeze, it could cause copper to squeeze higher. So if that's the case, then the 10-year, I mean, stocks and copper are going to squeeze. I'm not saying they are, but if they are, and the 10-year, I mean, really, it's what we do every day. You know, I like to put trades on when we really have confirmation. So right now, if the 10-year starts breaking this level, I can't see how stocks are going to, you know, hold up there. I still think it's kind of risky. It's weird because, you know, look at platinum here, right? Like platinum is squeezing. Silver and gold, you know, are a mess. The dollar is kind of a mess. Yeah, platinum could be up there for sure. And the 10-year, this is like, it's kind of a mixed bag right now. I mean, we got to see what the 10-year, bonds look weak. And if that's the case, I mean, I don't see how copper or any of these are going to stay up there, but not an easy day. Nasdaq's trying to recover a little bit. Here's copper, kind of hang out at this level. I don't know, I'm flat, and I made a tiny bit on that first copper just because my entry was a bit behind yours, but whatever. All intents and purposes, basically still right around break even and just waiting for clarity and good setups. Just continue to manage the risk. 10 years of yeah, platinum's I'm not going to short this hourly pattern on platinum. I'm not saying it's not going to go down. I just still a little too strong for me here. Platinum. Silver tough here with the 4-hour. Hard to say what it wants to do. Gold is also a little tricky. I mean, I'm going to just take my cue today from basically from stocks and bonds. I think the dollar is going to be choppy. So here we get, let's look at the 4-hour here for the stock market here. I mean, this is potentially a lot of resistance here on the NASDAQ. I think the NASDAQ's got potentially quite a lot of resistance here. So depends if the 10-year can keep heading lower, yeah, I'll look at that in just a sec. The Dow is trying to squeeze, which is why copper is kind of hanging out there for right now. Russell's not buying it. So the Dow is kind of squeezing by itself fairly. So platinum, high of day, 921. From when, yeah, it looks like that's about. You got 921, 922 and a half. That's where you got all that resistance up in there. So yeah, I'm thinking if it the hourly would have to, this is too strong for me right now for me to short platinum against that hourly trend. So I'm not saying that's a bad area up there, but the hourly, just like what we had in the NASDAQ the other day. when we hit that short up at the independence trend line, I'll take you back to that. Here, you see how just got to be careful when it's trending up and wait for the signal to confirm the resistance. You don't want to try not to be early. Better to be late than early. No, if the 10-year can, yeah, 10 years breaking through, so we're gonna get some answers here. The 10 years at 3.5. No, we're just gonna have to see. It's kind of a tricky day here today, for sure. Because you got stocks are not really rallying right now. Metals are mixed. You know, we'll see if the Nasdaq kick off the party to the. Yeah, fashionably late is a better idea. And here's the this is the Dow. I mean, this could be an exhaust here on the Dow. It's hard to say. You got a lot of resistance up here potentially. Copper's not buying this. It's not getting any clear signals. No. Let's look at nat gas. Here's nat gas. Crude. Because I can get so locked into a rallying. Platinum. And the fact that copper is still strong, if stocks push higher and copper pushes higher, does that mean that the 10-year is going to rally? Right? That's, I don't have that answer, but one of them is wrong. I don't know which one it is. I mean, the 10-year looks pretty weak, which means rising rates. I mean, stocks should not like that. If that was the case, the Nasdaq shouldn't like it up here and that level there. But are we reversing on the? We reverse on the Nasdaq and rates get strong. Dow up here should reverse. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if Dow reverses, then it's like, well, what the hell is copper doing all the way up here? but I don't like this 4 hourly on copper. Like the fact anything can happen. But copper can be tricky. You can do that. Go back up and then settle back down. I'm just thinking out loud here. NQ rejected. Yeah, could be catching a bid. Yeah, it looks it's choppy right now. I mean, the 10-year and I mean bonds. The ultra bonds look weak here. So the ultra bonds. I mean they're breaking down. So we'll see. Silver's not following. Gold is not following yet. How? Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's still a little tough to read up here. But bonds look pretty. Gonna have to wait and see. In the ultras, the ultras look really weak. This is a mixed market. The Dow's trying to pull off. We don't know either. Like metals, there might be correlations that are changing as well because we have to be aware of a regime change, right? Yeah, the 15 I just try and use. It depends. We can talk about that in a sec. But I think we got to be aware of if the regime changes. Because like right now, what copper is doing doesn't really make sense. So if copper is pushing higher and platinum is pushing. Happy to just be flat today because it's not really clear right now. I mean, NQ is weak. Dow is strong for now. Got some resistance up here. Bonds look weak. Russell is trying to head lower. I can't. The 10-year. So it's like, is the 10-year going to just get support here? I mean, it could. Gold, silver. It's just a very strange market. You have copper and platinum pushing higher, gold and silver pushing lower, bonds pushing lower. I mean, this is a very mixed bag. Look at Bitcoin. That's why it's good just to stay flat and wait. There. Dollar. Dollar's not doing it. Platinum still trying to push. Copper trying to push. What does this mean? Platinum and copper, those are the industrial metals pushing. Gold and silver could be weak because it could be risk on. Dollar, but then bonds would have to stabilize here. Do we have any news coming out at 10? Ah, it's just, yep, pending home sales. Good move. It's just, yeah, it's cool. The market's just not super clear right now. I don't know. Gold and silver. I mean, if bonds keep dumping, you know, the Nasdaq looks weak. Just this is a total. See, these are when the market is incoherent like this. This is what's so cool about using the cross market correlations, using OMA. It's like don't force the issue, right? Right now, it's looking very strange. ES is not clear there. Still got a lot of support there on ES. So like, but thinking out loud, that's what I'm running. Dow is kind of like copper. It's like pushing higher, but kind of shouldn't be. I mean, year bonds are headed lower. Rates are headed higher. The dollar is not. The dollar and the euro are range bound. I get that, but I mean, this is. I mean, metals are reacting to something else right now. But if so far, like the Nasdaq, it should be pretty sensitive to these rates, the bonds tanking here. I don't see any clarity, Steve. Just not a clear, not a time to take a risk. We gave copper a shot. I don't feel bad about it. In that moment, that was a great spot to take a chance on copper. Cut the risk quickly, no problem. But right now with bonds, I'm gonna watch the 10-year on the new or pending home sales or whatever. Just trying to understand why. Unless this is an exhaust for a reversal. Could be. I think so. The ultra and the 30-year really breaking down. Platinum. Copper here. I think copper is going to want to go up to 3.9. Some support there, silver. Gold, kind of not clear. Yeah, something like that with bonds. Probably the best play. There's the home sales. So 10 years heading lower. See. Watching, not doing a whole lot. We'll get a sense here of how these markets react. Look could be some resistance here, but you've got conflicting signals on the hourly and the 4-hourly indices. That's for sure. They're conflicting. The Dow, you've got some potential resistance up in here. Nothing I'm going to take. Can't imagine why copper's squeezing here, but it is. Platinum could be a 4-hour exhaust, but you know, and that hour might reverse, but for me that's still too strong, especially that hour broke the extension, so got to be careful there. Ultras are heading lower. I mean, bonds are being sold here, so the dollar can get a little stronger. Bonds are fishing lower. Bonds are fishing lower. Bonds are kind of collapsing. Looking at the Dow here, because the Dow has, this is a potential, I'm not trading it, but it's got what could be an exhaust pattern on the hourly and the 4-hourly potentially. I mean, bonds are just collapsing. I think there's a lot of resistance here for the Dow, but I just kind of want to watch it. It's the only one that's been kind of remotely clear. Yeah, I think soon, Steve, I'm probably just going to call it a day because I'm just so tired. And I do think for you, just keep an eye on rates, keep an eye on bonds. Bonds look down. Probably wait pullbacks on the bonds and then keeping an eye on everything else. That's what I'm going to do. Been a good week, been a long week. I'm tired, so call it a day, my friend. And on a positive note, careful with your accounts, okay? Just no rush. Make good decisions. Steady as she goes. Really all we can do. All right, my friend, I'll see ya. Take care. Good luck today. Be careful. Yeah, way better setups. This is a tough day. Things are not making sense, so just be careful. Good day to be patient. Cheers, mate. See ya. We'll be in touch over the weekend and later today on the